Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe on what is a jam-packed show and a jam-packed day. It's a big day here at the city. It's State of the City. But really, we're going to start things off real easy talking with our Clerk of Courts, Leslie Clark. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's important that we recognize everybody in the city and with everything that they do. And you kind of have a great job, but it's behind the scenes. And if somebody knows who you are, they probably did something bad to get there. So when it comes to being a clerk of courts, what does a clerk of courts actually do?
Well, for us, it's like you said, it's kind of complicated behind the scenes. We actually take care of all the functions behind the scenes. We're impartial, so we're not for prosecution or we're not for the defense. When tickets come in from start to finish from the police department, if you get a speeding ticket or something like that, or you get caught doing something you're not supposed to, and you get a citation, we'll get the citation from the police department, and we basically start the whole process. So we enter everything into our systems. We are responsible for keeping the records of the court. We're responsible for making sure that we have a magistrate scheduled, and everything, all the processes behind the scenes we take care of. Court dates, continuances, paying of the fines and fees, and just making sure everything's in order for the court.
All right. Every time that happens, I always kind of like, and it's an age thing here. The People's Court theme like plays in the background and things like that. But, you mentioned a couple of things, tickets and other citations. What is the most common type of thing that we see here in Reynoldsburg?
So we handle misdemeanor violations. Anything felony goes to the county court. So It could be Franklin, Licking, or Fairfield. Here, we typically see a lot of speeding violations. There is an effort to try to make our streets a lot safer. A lot of citizens are concerned about safety and the speeds that people are going. So we try to, focus our efforts on making sure that our streets are safe. And so we get a lot of speeding violations, traffic violations, things of that sort. We also get, on the criminal side, we get a lot of petty theft cases. We have bigger retail stores in the area. So that's kind of typical in any city. You'll get some petty theft crimes, stuff like that. So
yeah, every time we hear the phrase petty theft, my assistant Jessica and I would always kind of laugh because we're like, it's a different type of petty.
Yeah,
we're not just being petty. It's just
a different type of petty.
But it seems the other way. It seems the other way. Now, what's your favorite thing about your job?
I think interacting with people. Some people are, it's not the happiest reason to be here. So. If I can sometimes talk to people and get them to understand, hey, this is not a personal thing. This is something that is used to keep our community safe. And then explain. A lot of times their attitudes turn around and they understand that. And I think that when I do that, it's like a little inner happy that comes across, and people generally understand that.
Yeah, for the most part, I don't hear, anything. I don't hear a lot of yelling and,
No.
That type of like dramatized version that we see on TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, you are also an attorney.
I am.
And I won't hold that against you. How does that, obviously it does help, but how does that help you in this role?
Well, I've been here for almost 17 years. With the city of Reynoldsburg. And before that, I practiced law in Cleveland. I was a defense attorney. I've also had experience prosecuting. So for me, being able to, but still stay, impartial, being able to understand laws, understand what I'm supposed to do to keep up with laws, to make sure that our court is in compliance with regulations and House bills and all those kind of things. Being able to understand that and interpret it and implement those changes with our court, I think is beneficial across the board.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You do a great job. I hear, downstairs, like I said, it's relatively calm on court days, even when we have like big traffic. Last week there was a big week because we had a traffic blitz, and that's where everybody was coming in. Not everybody that gets a ticket comes to court. Sometimes they just pay it and move on with it, but the ones that come in are just doing it because they want to try and argue their case and go, no, when you run through a stop sign at 35 miles an hour, you're probably going to get a ticket.
Yeah.
So.
And I would say this, I will add this, like you said, we have a busy court for a suburb, very busy court, and my staff is awesome. I have 3 staff members. I have an assistant clerk and then 2 deputy clerks who are able to process all the people that come in and every week and do their jobs and interact with them, and I can't complain. They do a great job with that. So
That's good. I'm hoping they asked you questions. No, just kidding. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, I did not think so. I really appreciate it. Tomorrow's another court day, and I'm
Yes.
sure you got a lot of things to do, but I do appreciate you coming in.
no problem.
February is Black History Month, and until someone tells me otherwise, we're still celebrating.
Yes,
So
great.
I wanted to make sure that we recognize your accomplishments, and again, being here at the city for an exceptionally long time, you've seen a lot of changes. So thank you for everything
All
that
right.
you do.
Thank you
all
for
right.
having me.
Now she gets to make her escape. We'll see ya. She was going to introduce our next group of guests that is actually members of the high school robotics team, and she was going to do the robot, but apparently didn't work out. So come on over, just pull over an extra chair. So I've known about the robotics team for a long time, and it's one of those things where I think people, they hear robotics and they think one thing, but in reality, it's not exactly what they're imagining. So why don't you introduce yourselves and let us know a little bit about the robotics team in general. We'll start with you.
Yeah, my name is Carly. I'm the team ambassador, which means that I am like the front face for a lot of our social media, and I help with awards and other things like that, along with outreach and getting out to our community.
Yeah, so I'm Aditi Packrell. I am the outreach lead for 4085. So that basically means I send a lot of emails. I'm the one who kind of coordinates planning the events that we do and coordinates our long-term outreach initiatives.
Well, there's a lot that kind of goes in with that. So neither one of you mentioned building robots, though. So there's more to the robotics team than just that particular part. So why don't you tell me, what are some of the other categories of things you do? You mentioned what you guys do. What are some of the other roles that people have?
So our team is split into 2 major categories, and then within that, we on our side, on the marketing end, we have outreach and my role. But we also, on the build side, we have people who build the robot, and we have people who use the wiring for the robot, and people who don't even touch the robot, but they build our the stuff for our game and other things like that, where you have a lot of options within building that isn't just the robot.
Now, who can participate? Because most of this is done at the Summit campus, correct? So if you're a student at the Livingston campus, can you still participate?
Yes, our
team is open
Yeah.
to all of the high schoolers within Livingston and Summit, and in addition to that, we've started FLL teams, which is First Lego League. So it's kind of the precursor to FRC, which is what we do at the high school level. So we have 5 FLL teams at 5 of the elementary and junior highs in Reynoldsburg, and we're hoping to expand it to all 8 of the schools that are eligible to have FLL teams in the coming years.
Well, it's cool because obviously we know the way the technology is going. So I know that we didn't get a little list of questions ahead of time, but there's 2 things that I wanted to talk about. One, you guys retrofit and refurbish toys. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, because I know that people out there might be interested with it.
Our program is called Toby's Toys, and we have a bunch of donated toys that we rewire and use larger buttons to make it available to kids with fine motor disabilities. And then once we have enough to donate, we donate them to the Nationwide Children's Hospital.
So that's a cool thing, because again, that's something that, one, you're still practicing robotic skills and you're still doing the rewiring, but it's also for a great cause. And I know I see you guys everywhere. I've seen the robotics team at COSI when they do their big science event in May. I always make sure to find my way out there and see you guys for that. But then you're at certain city events and things like that. But the next question is competitions. I know you're kind of in build season right now. Do you have any dates or when your next competitions are and things like that?
Our first competition is March.
March 27th through
Yeah.
the 29th, and that's the Miami Valley Regional. So kind of the way that robotics competitions work is you have the regional competition. There's no districts or anything. You go to the regional competition, and depending on the awards that you win, so you move on to Worlds. So we have our first regional coming up 27th to the 29th in March, and then we have our second regional April 3rd through the 5th. So if you guys want to come, it's pretty fun.
Do you know where they're located? Because you said Miami Valley, so where? Because I know in the past you've gone to.
In Cincinnati? Miami Valley is in Cincinnati.
Yes.
Okay.
Miami Valley is in Cincinnati at I don't remember what university it's at, but
Get that stuff to me, because I know
Yes.
that if it's in Cincinnati, and it's not a long drive, but it's a 2-hour drive, which means that you're in a bus for 2 hours,
Yeah.
and you're probably hungry and you want snacks. So if somebody out there wants to donate something like that, can they reach out to you guys and say, hey, we want to bring in a case of water, if they want to bring in some potato chips or something like snack wise, can they do that?
yes, we will take donations at Summit High School from 10 to 4 on Saturdays. We think that's the most available for everybody to bring them in. We could also use donations of used tools that people may not use anymore, because we can't always continue buying tools because it racks up in expenses. We are currently trying to start a recycling initiative to both eliminate plastic waste in our community, and use it to further STEM and further STEM education. So if you want to bring in recyclable things, so like glass bottles, plastic bottles, toilet paper rolls, paper towel rolls, things like that, we would be really open to it as well.
Pretty cool. If you guys get any of that information to us, we'll make sure we get it on our website and promote it out there. So anything else that you guys want to share that I didn't ask about?
Is there any?
If you want to give us monetary donations,
We
also
We have a Venmo and a Cash App that I literally just had.
Yeah.
See, no, we laugh, but obviously, in the best of circumstances, these organizations are typically self-funded. You're not getting a huge amount of support from the school district and things like that. And obviously, because of recent events, it may be even more of an issue. And keep in mind, they're not just asking you guys. I know that TS Tech has asked. I know that they talk to some of the bigger corporations in the area, and they do a great job getting donations. But the reality is $20 here, $30 there, $10, all of that stuff adds up and helps to offset the cost of the materials, the fees to get there, all of that stuff. So that's a good thing. So get that to us and we'll have it all out there. Any questions from the audience at all on this one?
Not yet.
All right. Best wishes. Keep me informed so that way we can do something, make sure we get some support out there. And I know I've taken a tour, but if you want to get a better idea, going on a build day is pretty cool. And this is not what you're expecting. Like, usually this is not like, you're not seeing parents do the work on all of this. You're seeing a couple of adults that are just there making sure nothing blows up, but everybody else is doing the work. All the kids are doing it. They're in different sections of everything, working on their particular project, anything, again, from marketing all the way throughout. So it's a really cool program, and it's one of the best things that Reynoldsburg City Schools does. So thank you. Thanks for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
No, you're welcome. Anytime we'll do there, and we'll have our fingers crossed for the competitions. So
Yeah.
trust me, we'll be at Worlds.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. All right.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually a really good segue going from the robotics team to now talking about last night. So last night, amongst many meetings in Reynoldsburg, was the Reynoldsburg School Board final meeting on proposed cuts for next year. Give you a real brief summary of it. Cuts review, they decided to go with the option B, which would eliminate 5 assistant principal positions, 5 social workers, at least 51 teaching positions. I would raise pay-to-play fees from what they are to $500 for high school, $400 for junior high. Transportation would be reallocated all the way throughout. You would have delayed maintenance, modifications of certain academic offerings, meaning the reality is that if there are classes that are being offered that only have a certain number of students, they may have to eliminate those because they're just either not as popular or they're kind of like a niche class or something like that. And then finally was school resource officers, but I did want to put a caveat on there. The city has offered to the school district to actually pick up the cost for the school resource officers. I feel that the way things are in the world today, our officers provide an invaluable service, not only to the staff, but also the students in there. Our officers are friends, and when things get bad, sometimes our officers do a really good job of de-escalating things and taking care of issues. And we've seen that really in just the last few years. So hopefully the district will get back to us on that. I think they will. So we'll at least make sure that that part is taken care of. Next week, my guest is going to be Board President Angela Abrams. So I'm pretty sure we'll have some good conversations about the school district and what next steps are. Because this is only the first step of a multi-step process and everything. But if you want to watch the board meeting from last night, it is on their website. You can watch the live stream version of it. And I'll probably be talking a little bit about it tonight too at the State of the City. If you don't want to wait, you can go and meet with board member Neil Whitman every Friday. I think it's from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4. I can never remember those times where he's at the Graham Road Welcome Center. and you can have those personal conversations on there. Hopefully, if he's watching right now, you can drop that in the chat. We do have some updates for Wagner Road. The bridge work is looking to be open in the next couple of weeks, early March. And then you'll have north and southbound access all the way really to about Priestley. And that's where they're going to do their next section, which is the culvert. They'll work on that one, and then they have another one right by St. Pius. And then after that, the real easy stuff gets done. All of the underground stuff is taken care of. You'll have the stormwater stuff, curbs, gutters, and all those different types of things. So that's on its way. Any questions so far?
No, but it is 3 to 4.
3 to 4. There we go. So I figured that's what, I knew he'd be watching.
I looked it up, but
Okay.
yeah.
We also have the Taylor Road Sewer Project. This one's a little bit less known. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but there's going to be a sewer line extension project starting probably sometime in mid-March that will kind of take a sewer line extension from the Kroger side of Taylor Road across the street and then down the property. So you're going to see some construction up there. It's not going to shut down Taylor Road, but it's going to obstruct things for a couple of weeks until they get back far enough into the property. Again, I'll talk more about that tonight. The other meeting that we had last night was our flooding grant town hall. So we've had a couple of public meetings talking about the flooding that has continued to plague Reynoldsburg for a long time. As a matter of fact, somebody actually brought a photo album yesterday that had pictures from a flood in 1979, and they certainly made the best of it. They actually called it the flood party, and there was actually pictures of various neighbors, and they were all out, and they had the grills out, and they were just enjoying it because there was nothing else you could do with it. So we went through the process of, all right, what's going on? Why is it there? And we found out a number of different layers about certain things. So there's 2 different types, and again, I'll get more in depth later on, but you have the flooding that occurs because of the water from Blacklick Creek itself from the rain. And then you have, when that gets overflowing, then you start to see it in the further parts of the neighborhood on the western side of it, where you see water coming up out of the sewers and storm waters and things of that nature. So there are a couple things that we're going to do is relining the sewers in that entire area. That's going to start as soon as we can get, arrange the funding all the way throughout, hopefully later this year, and then from here out until it's done. Resizing the stormwater grates so they're not this big, they're that big, things like that. The other part of it is going to be talking about specifically the most flood-prone area, which is off White Butterfly and those courts in that area. The potential for property acquisition. Those purchases would happen through a grant through FEMA, and then those houses would be purchased through all of that at market rate, and then those houses would then be leveled and kind of pulled out and demolished, and then it would return everything to more of a natural state for prevention of excess flooding. So it would be more of a retention area than anything else. So that was last night's meeting. Again, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but there are only so many things that we can do given the circumstance of where the water is and cost effectiveness. But we will be meeting with the residents of all of that community that are impacted with it. We'll have the slide deck that was on last night. That'll be on our website sometime later today. But if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and we can talk about them. With that, we've got some fun parks things coming up. Again, the Princess Party, Saturday, March 15th from 9:30 to 11:30. I think there might still be room left on that one, but it's probably getting close. So if you want to take care of that, go ahead. We also have the Adult Cornhole League, which is starting May 6th, but they are taking registration now. It'll be at Eastside Brewery from the 6th to the 24th, every Tuesday night from 6 to 9 o'clock. It's $40 to register, and you can have 5 people up to a team, and you can kind of alternate. You have Karate Little Kick, which is February 24th through March 24th for those kids between 3 and 6 to help with coordination, and for those of us of a certain age can remember the Karate Kid jokes all the way and get their kids to listen to that. We also have, I think this just opened up, our Easter Bunny Breakfast is going to be April 12th on Saturday from 9 to 11. Eggs, sausage, pancakes, fruit, crafts, games, and I'm sure some of those eggs might be chocolate as well. So if you're interested in that and hanging out with the Easter Bunny for breakfast, go ahead and look into that. As far as pickleball is concerned, we have 4-week courses starting on April 28th. These are introductory, so if you've never played pickleball ever before, and that would be me, this is the first step. Classes could be Mondays on April 28th through May 19th from 1 to 3, or for those of us that would prefer evening hours, Wednesday the 30th through the May 21st from 6 to 8. I'm betting all of those will fill up relatively fast because it is kind of a growth industry for pickleball. The other one is the actual leagues themselves. Those will start on the 22nd through the 27th, and please pay attention when you're registering because they are registered by ability level. So if you're really, really good, don't register for the intermediate just so you can beat up on everybody that's never played before. I think there was a commercial at the Super Bowl that was very much like that, so check that out. We also have some green tomato updates. We have our Reynoldsburg Plant Library plant swap is going to be Saturday, February 22nd at Eastside Brewery. So you can swap some plants and have some beverages while you're at it, hopefully in that order. We also have our big thing, go ahead and put this up there. This is our BYOB event. This is going to be March 13th from 6 to 7:30 at the Reynoldsburg Community Church. It's going to be a job fair, and if you want to build your own business, that's why it's BYOB. There'll be some banks there talking about options for small business loans. There'll be people from our building and zoning department to kind of answer questions about how you get through that process. So, if you want to expand your business or if you're looking to start your own, this is a great opportunity to do so. So go ahead and check that out. That's going to be at the Reynoldsburg Community Church again on March 13th. We also have a grand opening that has been scheduled. Hallmark is going to be a new grand opening Friday, February 28th at 9:30 a.m. So you can go ahead and get all of those wonderful cards and knickknacks and everything else that's going on. I think it's a little too early for Christmas ornaments, but I'm sure they'll be here before we know it. And the last one is kind of an interesting thing. Heart Food Pantry is going to be doing a tour. This is the Heart of the Matter Vision Tour. Probably going to be talking about their new facility that they're looking to build this year. It will be Friday, February 28th at 4 p.m. at their current location. So check that out and see what that vision is, especially in this time of need. There's going to be a lot of things out there. We also want to make sure that if you are a vendor and you have things that you're looking to sell at community events, now's the time to do it. Reach out to the city for any one of our events, whether it's Juneteenth or Artists and Makers Market, Farmers Market, and beyond. We're accepting those now. We also have the Community Association Spaghetti Dinner fundraiser on Saturday, March 29th from 5 to 8 at Messiah Lutheran. And really interesting thing is the Franklin County has a landfill tour. So if you want to go and actually tour a landfill, which we've done, it's actually very educational, you can do that March 1st at Swaco and get an idea. Just make sure you wear the right shoes. Just throwing that out there for you. We do have our litter cleanup program. We actually might have a new one that is registering for that, but if you want to adopt a road, we will be able to provide the trash pickers and garbage bags and all sorts of things like that for different groups or organizations to come and clean up some of our roads. And want to give a special shout out to the Rock Syndicate. This is Louvain, and the Rock Syndicate is actually the musician responsible for the theme song. So if you love it, you can tell them about it. If you don't love it, tell them to make me a new one. But that will be at their 2-year anniversary this Saturday, the 22nd, from 12 to 5. So they'll be there. It's right on Main Street, kind of right by that U-Haul shop and all of that type of thing. Go out there and check it out. It's a great store, lots of cool options. And again, for small businesses to make it to 2 years is a huge thing. So way to go with that. Big thing for the night again. We're all excited about the state of the city, and when I say excited, most of us are kind of dreading it because we've been trying to do all the setup and seating charts and all of that type of thing. But that is tonight. It's going to start about 7 o'clock, but the doors open at 6:30. Some of our directors are going to have some information out there about anything from our water meters to events to jobs, all of that stuff out there. So come on out. If you can't make it and you want to watch, you have 2 options. The first one you can watch on our Reynoldsburg City website under the meetings or agenda, kind of like you would a council meeting. Or you can really watch and have an entertaining show and watch it on social media and check out the comments because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them. Just make sure you have your Michael Jackson gift with the eating popcorn thing because it's probably going to be a lot of fun. With that, like I said, next week, School Board President Angela Abram is going to be on to talk about, I'm sure, the school district and next steps. So get your questions in early so we can get that taken care of. But other than that, any questions? Anything popping up?
Nope.
No? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, stay safe, stay respectful. Make sure you put your shopping carts away. And please, either come out to City Hall tonight for the State of the City or watch online. Otherwise, have a great time. We'll see you next week.